Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Hawks have received a boost in their crime-fighting initiatives. They have inked a memorandum of understanding with the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. As part of the deal, both organizations have expressed their commitment to share skills and expertise to drive research and innovation. The biggest focus will be in the field of data science and cybersecurity. Let's discuss this further now. We're joined by CSIR Information and Cybersecurity Research Center Manager Jabu Mtsweni. Thank you very much, Doc, for your time here on eNCA. Just first of all, explain to us in practical terms, for those of us who are more than excited to see crime being busted in South Africa, exactly what the role of the CSIR would be.
Thank you very much, Masego, and thank you for inviting us. As you would know, the CSIR is a Council for Scientific and Industrial Research with the mandate to foster scientific and industrial research in improving the quality of life of our people. So the collaboration is actually with a special investigating unit, not necessarily the Hawks. And this collaboration is about the two organizations coming together to use technology to fight corruption, malpractices, and maladministration in the public sector.
So, of course, you'd be offering your artificial intelligence, etc., to assist the Hawks and the SIU with crime fighting. But tell me exactly when we know that you've signed this memorandum of agreement. But tell me exactly when your work starts. Has it already started?
Yeah, so maybe just before I get to that, so the agreement hinges on 5 pillars, which is the issues of data sharing, data management, and data analytics, as we have indicated. And the main reason for that is about how do we start using technology to fight corruption actually before it happens. And it also the issues of information and cybersecurity, as we have indicated, particularly in building capacity and capability from the digital and cyber forensic point of view. And on the artificial intelligence and blockchain point of view is about how do we start to use this technology to even, for example, do simple things like protecting the privacy of whistleblowers. As you would know, corruption in many cases is reported by whistleblowers, and some of them could be victimized. So how do we use technology in that sense? So in terms of the work, you know, the CSIR, including the other law enforcement, they've always worked together. Obviously, the collaboration agreement is just formalizing that, particularly during the COVID. The National Policy Data Observatory had always been there in terms of also assisting government to be a capable state when it comes to data-driven, decision making, and also focusing on other aspects such as how can we use technology to do some of these investigations quicker, so that the culprits could be found quicker and prosecuted if there is such evidence. So the collaboration is quite broad in that sense. And the CSR will also participate maybe through skill sharing and as well as assisting or supporting technology development that can be used to fight corruption.
Going back to your point about whistleblowers, I think that's quite important, especially this week. It marked a year since the killing, rather, not even just a death. She was murdered, Babita Deokaran. Are you able to, of course, without giving too much information that would give the criminals a clue, but are you able to give us a practical example of how this would work? Because obviously we're used to witness protection and police officers basically being guard, and with some whistleblowers, this obviously didn't happen and it failed. Your Shalkania also. So can you give us a practical example of how this would work or what you would do?
I think, again, maybe you find that criminals, they use technology or various digital platforms to commit crime. And now, most of the time when it comes to corruption, you would know that individuals on the ground, the citizens and the servants, maybe in the public sector, they are the ones who may report this crime. But the challenge, obviously, that you have now is that maybe they may report it, physically or report it without using technology. So how do we use technology such as blockchain or distributed ledger technology that tends to preserve the privacy of the person who is actually reporting, so that in as much as they may provide information, but that information may not be traced back to them to an extent that they could even be victimized, by probably the people who are alleged to have committed those crimes. And there are various ways, to do this, particularly in the digital space. But as we have indicated, in terms of the technical details, we may not be able to share them.
Yeah, as long as it's incorruptible, Doc?
Look, I think so. That's a very interesting question. But in terms of technology, and that is why from the information and the cybersecurity space is about how do we ensure that there is trust, particularly in the information that is shared. How do we ensure that there's security? And that is why one of the core components between us and SIU is also about cyber infrastructure support. Where is our data stored, and how is it secured and prevented maybe from being interfered by maybe malicious elements?
I mean, we've seen, for instance, many technological things that have been, launched, and then somehow a human being smart enough is able to break through that. So we're hoping that that won't happen. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on eNCA. That was Dr. Jabu Mtsweni. He is the CSIR's Information and Cybersecurity Research Center Manager, just explaining to us about that memorandum of understanding that they've signed with the Hawks and the SIU to fight crime in the area, particularly when it comes to corruption. Now,